Roger Stone here for Colonial Metals Group. Colonial Metals Group helps Americans protect their future with the most trusted store of wealth in human history. That's actual physical gold and silver. If you're retiring or you're retired, go to colonialmetalsgroup.com/stone right now for your free Roger Stone Colonial Metals Group Retirement Protection Kit. Or call 800-747-6589. That's 800-747-6589. Call now to receive your free home safe and up to $7,500 in free silver.
I'm Michael Che.
And I'm Colin Jost. And we've got a little secret. Actually, it's a pretty big secret.
Well, now you gotta give the people something.
No, I'm not saying a word.
Oh, then people won't know to tune in. Come on, tell them a little bit.
Like how we're hosting a live comedy event streaming only on Peacock September 12th.
Exactly.
Or how it's called New York After Dark, and it's a comedy show that only features drop-in comics.
Boom, you nailing it, dude.
Michael Che's phone number's...
Whoa, hey.
New York After Dark, some kind of live comedy thing. September 12th, only on Peacock.
You love it.
This is Sid and Friends in the morning.
77 WABC.
Ay. This Anthony D'Esposito, my dear friend, the Congressman Anthony D'Esposito, is such a troublemaker. And, it doesn't take a lot to fire up Pete King. He's Irish. So Anthony texted me moments ago. He's such an idiot. He goes, Pete, hang in there. Sid's about to push you to the 10 a.m. hour. He's bouncing you from Melissa Zimmerman and Paul King. And Pete takes the bait, of course. He's like, I'm no longer one of Sid's friends. Could you imagine if we did this to him? So here he is, my dear friend, one of the two best politicians in my lifetime, along with Rudy Giuliani, the great Congressman Pete King. Pete, good morning. How are you, pal?
I'm not happy. It should be Sid and Friends in the afternoon when I'm on. Oh, jeez. Last week you have to wait an hour. Today is 40 minutes. You got to find every guy up the street and put him on enemy.
You are hilarious.
Good thing Justin's not going to Cipriani's on Friday. I'd be coming after him. I blame him mainly. Because I don't know if you're smart enough to do what he's doing. He does it very cleverly, He screws me when I'm not looking, but I'll get back at you guys somehow. I get the Esposito on my side now.
I know. He's such a troublemaker. Oh, good. So we're going to see you and Rosemary on Friday night. I'm happy about that.
Well, I'll be there. I don't know if I'm going to bother talking to you, but I'll be there, yeah.
Well, you'll say hello to Danielle. You still love her, right?
Oh, I love Danielle. Yes. I love Danielle.
Yes.
She's a great woman, just has a little bit of lack of good judgment. Other than that. And by the way, Anthony might be there, too, and if he brings his guys from Island Park, you're in deep trouble.
Anthony is coming. He texted me a couple of days ago when he said, if you and Danielle are coming, I'm taking my wife. And I said, yes, so he is coming. And he'll find a way to fire you up that night, too. He's got you, man. Tony D's got you, Pete. But I do want to get to somebody who was in studio earlier today, who you know very, very well, and who's running against Tom Suozzi. And I admitted again, Pete, if you were listening, that one of my regrets in this job of mine is that I didn't endorse Mazi Phillip enough. I did endorse her. She was on 4 times. I certainly endorsed her over Suozzi. But I become so close with Mazi now, much closer with her than you and Anthony, by the way, that
I know that. Believe me, Anthony and I both noticed that, yeah.
So
I'm not talking to Mazi anymore because of that.
But on a serious note, she came up short. But this guy, LePetri, he's very impressive.
No, Mike is good. He really is. He's a solid guy. I think he's got a real good chance of beating Suozzi. He's working hard. He's all over the place. He's really, really campaigning, very, very hard. So Mike is a good guy. He's, a rising star in the party. But getting back to Mazi, all kidding aside, listen, you do what you had to do. I understand that. But there was a whole element in the Republican Party who was undermining her throughout the campaign, like saying she's still a registered Democrat. What did that matter? She was the nominee. What purpose did it? So we have people on our side who find negatives even after that person is the candidate. I mean, listen. Any differences I have with Donald Trump, once he's the nominee, that's it. It's over. You get behind him. You don't talk about something he said 5 years ago, 6 years ago, or 2 months ago.
No, listen, you're right. I've been saying that. You're right about Mazi. And, again, I regret that. But, with Trump, and I say this all the time, Pete, you listen every day. The amount of Republicans, Trump supporters, they're not voting against him. They're voting for him. that criticize him every day. He's got to stop with this. He's got to shut up. Okay. Just go out there, give him your love, give him your support. Because if God forbid he loses for dead, now they try to couch it by saying, well, I'm worried he's going to lose. So listen, go out there, support him. Stop looking for the negative. So in that respect, I agree with you.
Well, you should agree with in all respects because I'm usually right. But anyway, that's another story.
What do you expect? Because you'll be on again next Wednesday. Yeah. So you're on the day after the debate. What do you expect, Pete King, from Trump and Harris on Tuesday night?
I think Donald Trump is going to win. It's not going to be as easy as we might think. First of all, no matter how hard they may try it, I don't think they will try, but ABC is going to slant the questions. She's not going to get any of the sarcastic innuendo-type questions that Donald Trump is going to get. There's not going to be any raised eyebrows with whatever she says. And whatever Trump says, he's going to have to be able to back it up 1,000% because they'll be coming at him. And that just creates a whole air of tension, throughout the debate. I think he's going to handle it well. I thought what he did against Biden was great, the way he was able to stand back and let Biden screw himself up. And with I would just hope that he's ready with some details on Harris because her record is so bad. And I don't think he'll be baited. Like, you accused me of being baited by D'Esposito. I didn't have to be. I was mad going into it. Seriously, I mean, she is going to try and bait him. And he's the master of the one-liner. He's the master of the sarcastic shot. But he has to tone it a bit this time because the facts, you haven't had many presidents of any with a better record to run on than he did. Yeah. We were peace. It was prosperity.
Yep.
I mean, everything you're looking for. Great appointments to the Supreme Court, up and down the line. What had to be done was done. Small businesses, minorities never had it better. Women never had it better. All these groups now that the Democrats are targeting, during the Trump years, they did very well. He's got to remind people of that and also expose her record at the same time because she is really ultra left-wing. And also this whole thing with China. I mean, the fact is that I don't think Biden is doing enough either in Europe and Middle East or with China. But now the fact that Chinese agents actually operating at the highest levels of the New York State government in Democratic circles, that's just dangerous. It really is very dangerous. You know that. You just heard Gordon Chang on the show. And, Pete, not only were you a great congressman. That's the time I was supposed to be on. That's how I heard him, That's right. That was the only time he can do it. And Justin had zero difficulty moving you for Gordon. And he should have started off you with the Eagles for all I care. But you, as a guy that also not just was a great congressman, but all those years on Homeland Security, you could appreciate the threat coming from China. But here's what's kind of funny, I guess, about the whole story, Pete, and this is where I'm going to make you a part of the story, is that for folks that don't know, Linda's son, who was arrested and allegedly is a Chinese agent, she lived in Manhasset in York County in a $4 million house. So. He actually lives near Bill O'Reilly. Bill O'Reilly lives in Manhasset. She does. So don't try to blame me for that. Talk to O'Reilly about it. She does. Well. She lives right next to O'Reilly. Like, seriously, like right there, right? Yeah, right. Manhasset. That's where he's from. Yeah. That's where all the rich people live. Yeah. Yeah. Mike Breen, Anthony Scaramucci, all those guys are Manhasset. Got it. Yeah. Mike Francesa. Listen, if any or all of those facts are true, this is a damnable situation. It's horrible. And the fact is, though, that too many people in our country, in business, in government, in politics, they somehow feel China is just another country. It's not. To me, doing business with China now, dealing with China, is the same as dealing with the Nazis in Germany in the late 1930s. They're an enemy. They're a vicious country. They're exploiting. They're moving all over the world. And somehow we think they're different. They're cute. Like, why? How can you have a vice president who spends so much time in China? What is the attraction of a dictatorship and autocracy, a vicious government which is subjecting people to torture and murder and is deprive human rights after human rights? Yet these people, if you say anything at all, like, for instance, good about the president of Hungary, you consider him terrible. The thing is, he's a Democrat. He's an ally of the United States. China is the enemy of the United States. It's a vicious dictatorship, and yet it's fashionable to be hanging out with Chinese government officials, to be dealing with China, to somehow think that we can make peace with them. No, they are out to move as far as they can throughout Asia, and they're infiltrating all over the United States, whether it's in medical supplies, pharmaceuticals, wherever. They are there, and think of all the pharmaceutical companies doing business in China, all the medical goods we buy from China. If we have another COVID, another pandemic, they hold the hammer over us.
Oh, yeah.
And yet this is on all the time. All the business we do with China.
That's right.
We should be standing with Taiwan as strong as we possibly can, standing with the Philippines, standing with Japan, and making it clear that there's no reason to be dealing socially in any way that makes China look good. And that was the big mistake here. Outreach into the Chinese community is great, but make sure when you're doing it, you're dealing with the Taiwan supporters, not the communists.
I believe that 87% of our antibiotics come from China. Trump knew that. And walls, 30 times? So in the final 60 seconds, to your point, Pete, this administration has no issue, at least maybe the incoming VP, hanging out in China, but they're all over Bibi Netanyahu. How does that make sense?
Disgrace, absolute disgrace. We've never had a better ally than Bibi Netanyahu. No one has ever been under siege like Bibi Netanyahu. Nobody lives in a more dangerous neighborhood right now than Bibi Netanyahu. Israel's fighting for survival. We should be with them 1,000% all the way and not be questioning his leadership in time of war. This would be like people coming over and questioning Roosevelt's leadership in World War II. You don't do it. He's the leader of the country. He's a democratically elected leader. They're fighting for their survival. And they're not just fighting Hamas or Hezbollah. It's Iran. And Iran is a major enemy. They're allied with Russia and China against us. And we have to realize that this is real games we're playing. It's life and death. And it's especially true. And again, the thing with the Chinese, that's true. A Chinese agent, a spy, working at the highest levels of the New York government, which is one of the most powerful positions in the world. I mean, all the business, all of the banking, all of the finance, everything that goes through New York. And they have somebody at the top levels of that, and Empire State Development and the Labor Department and diversity, all these areas. Deputy Chief of Staff to the governor of the most famous state in the world. This is dangerous stuff. And if she was there, how many others are there?
Great question. Hey, Pete, that's an excellent appearance. I'm sorry I got you a little late. It was just a little. It wasn't.
If you want me next week, I'll be on with Lynn Berman at 8:45.
Listen, I'm just over here trying to make everybody happy. All right.
Oh, you go back to Philadelphia.
Pete, we'll see you Friday night. That's a heck of an appearance. I love you. Thank you, buddy.
If you're lucky, I'm not going to talk to you. You can see me. That's the closest you're going to get. I'll talk to Danielle.
Fair enough. There he is, the great Congressman Peter King. He's funny. He's smart. He's funny. He gets it. He knows radio. He knows what he's doing. Thank you, Pete King.